Ladies and gentlemen, our inductee, Hugh Shorty Ogle. William Ogle, in 1923, told his son Hugh if he could pick a certain amount of cotton every day and still play football, it was okay. He met his dad's quota. Cotton picking would not prevent this determined youngster from wearing the red and black of the Albertville Aggies. Here is the 1923 Aggie football team, and the young man first row left is Hugh Shorty Ogle. He was 6 feet 4 inches tall, so they called him Shorty. Here's the Albertville basketball team, 1924, runner-up in the district tournament. First on the left is Hugh Ogle, an outstanding scholar with strong muscles on a lanky frame. On the far right, next to the coach, is Shorty's teammate and Hall of Famer Rabbit Curry. Their Aggie coach in football and basketball, standing on the end, is Dwight Keith. Coach Keith would later be the head coach of basketball and baseball at Georgia Tech and varsity backfield football coach. Keith conceived and organized the National High School Athletic Coaches Association and served as its executive secretary from 1965 to 1973. He was inducted into the Georgia Hall of Fame in 1963. Coach Keith was probably the foundation for the coaching careers of a couple of future Hall of Famers, Shorty Ogle and Rabbit Curry. Albertville attorney T.J. Carnes, in his book Out of the Sand, described Ogle as probably the best coach this state has ever seen. And yes, this author knows about Bear Bryant. Shorty Ogle's Decatur Red Raiders of 1941 may have been the first high school team to use the modern-day T formation and one of the first 3 teams in the United States to use it, along with Stanford and the Bears of the NFL. The year of 1940 found Coach Clark Shaughnessy at Stanford unveiling the modern T formation. Coach George Halas of the NFL Bears, with Shaughnessy's help, used the formation that same year against the Washington Redskins. Coach Ogle had read a magazine article about the unbeaten Stanford team of 1940 and the 1941 Rose Bowl champions. Shorty would immediately grasp the theory of Coach Shaughnessy's T formation. The 1941 Red Raiders would practice some each day on the T formation with adjustments from Coach Ogle. They held up using the new formation until late in the season. In a game at Huntsville, with Decatur leading by only a 7-6 margin at halftime, the boys started asking the coach there at halftime to use their new formation. And before heading back out on the field for the second half, the coach stuck his head inside the door of the dressing room and said, "Let's use it." Decatur won 47-6, and T formation football had come to Alabama. Notice the SSAAS on the jersey. State Secondary Albertville Agricultural School. That was the name of the school in 1924. He was a starter in all sports for the Aggies before attending Birmingham Southern on a scholarship and playing football for Coach Red Drew. Ogle made All-South end, and he was a super punter on the football team. Also lettering in basketball, baseball, and track, Birmingham Southern awarded him the Porter Cup for being the best athlete. Sand Mountain's farm boy was once referred to as the one-man track team. He left Birmingham Southern in 1929 to take a coaching job at Huntsville. The Decatur Red Raiders came calling 4 years later and lured him away with a $100 a month salary. The rest is history. Ogle coached 4 undefeated state championship teams, including his first squad. Other highlights include a 33-game winning streak and a career coaching record, including records of 253, 73, and 9 in football, 232 and 42 in basketball, 128 and 29 in baseball, and 147 and 31 in track. The roster of stars he coached is led by Admiral Don Whitmire, an Alabama All-American and National Football Hall of Famer, along with Auburn star quarterback and coach Bobby Freeman. Here is Coach Ogle and Coach Woody Hayes. Coach Hayes was in Decatur for a quarterback club meeting, and at this meeting, the two coaches had between them 491 career football wins. Hayes 238, Ogle 253. The coach was noted for having a water bucket and a dipper on the sideline. It's probably one of those habits from the early days. And here you see the youngster with the water bucket and the dipper and the footballs. Left to right, it's Joe Black and Barrett Shelton. Shelton, the tall lad, is the owner and publisher of the Decatur Daily newspaper. This is 1970. The coach makes the governor, Albert Brewer, an honorary D Club member. The governor was a manager for Coach Ogle. Shorty Ogle has been called the father of the Alabama All-Star Game. He was the winning coach in the 1948 inaugural Alabama High School All-Star Football Game, in which the North team won 33-0 over the South. But as far back as 1941, Coach Ogle was tinkering around with this idea of an All-Star Game. A team of Alabama All-Stars played a team from Tennessee in Decatur High School at their stadium there, and coaches Shorty Ogle, Jim Glover, they teamed up with Alabama's Paul Burnham and Auburn's Jimmy Hitchcock against the Tennessee players and coaches. And Guntersville had a player in that game, Blackie Heath, who went on to become an All-American at Jacksonville State. He scored a touchdown in a 12-0 victory. Ogle in 1979 became the first high school coach to be inducted into the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame, followed in 1982 by the Birmingham Southern College Sports Hall of Fame. Alabama's High School Sports Hall of Fame selected coach to the charter class in 1991. The people of Morgan County honored him with a charter induction into its Hall of Fame, and Decatur named the site of all future high school football games Ogle Stadium at Decatur High School. 760 victories in varsity competition as a coach. Ladies and gentlemen, our inductee, Hugh Shorty Ogle.